Hi, Dr. Simeon Roger here again, and you may remember from our last video we talked about the power of assumption, that you get the life you assume you're going to have. On a deep level, whatever you assume or expect to be the outcome of your life or the events in your life, this is what you're going to experience on a continuous basis. Now, obviously for a lot of people that's not very pleasant, so how do you get out of that? Well, of course, we're stuck in it, as we said, because we have wrong assumptions. So I'm going to share with you a process for doing exactly that, getting rid of wrong assumptions, creating entirely new ones that serve you and take you where you want to go. So to understand that, we need to look at this diagram. This diagram explains the process of reality creation that most people use unconsciously. So it begins here. This is the world. This is the external world. That's my little globe with North and South America on it. Okay. So what happens, we go into the external world, we observe things, and we observe, say, the feedback we get about ourselves, from that, because we are creatures that assign meaning to everything, we assign an interpretation. We assign an interpretation to all of the events or types of events, all the experiences we have in life. We assign interpretations to them. That's what we do. Now, of course, here's the catch, right? A lot of our interpretations are not really our own. They're things that were given to us. They're things that were force-fed to us when we were under 9 years old, had no subconscious defense, and accepted all of that as fact. And we're still operating with a subconscious mind that actually believes those interpretations to be true. Big problem. Not to mention all the force-feeding the media does on a daily basis, right? So we have interpretations which are not entirely correct, but these interpretations give us an image. They give us an image of who we are, an image of self, but also an image of the world around us, of how the world works. So an image of self, an image of the world, in broad terms. This is what we get. And then what happens? Well, of course, we're always thrust back into the so-called external world, and we're experiencing more things, right? Now, as we do this, something very particular happens. There's part of your brain called your reticular activation system, or RAS, reticular activation system. And as you go back into the world, because you have already decided something is true, your reticular activation system is going to show you all the evidence it can find, everything in experience that supports that assumption about reality. It will give you all the supporting evidence, everything to support your hypothesis. Everything to support the hypothesis, it will also filter out everything that contradicts what you already believe to be true. Do you know how screwed up that is? It's monumentally screwed up. It's what we naturally refer to, or commonly refer to, as confirmation bias. Yeah, there's a part of your brain that is built to give you confirmation bias. That is really screwed up in a sense. Now, we won't get into the very positive uses of the reticular activation system right now. There are reasons it exists, and we're going to show you, though, how to use it for your own purposes. But this is what it does. It'll confirm everything you believe to be true. So the problem, of course, is most people start here with their experiences that they see. They go to interpretations, many of which were handed to them, and therefore they're operating on this image of themselves and this image of world around them, which is completely false. But it's a feedback loop, because every time they go back into the world, they're force-fed again everything that supports what they already think, and it just goes around in circles. Now, what happens if you want to create your own reality? Well, it's fairly simple. All you do is start in a different place. Instead of starting here with your experience, you're going to start over here. You're going to start there. You're going to start with the image. Come up with an image of yourself, the way you would truly like to be, the person you want to be. Or come up with an image of how the world works, or different elements of the world, how you want to perceive the world, how things should be. Ask yourself, what should this look like? Start there. Okay, that will give you the interpretation. It'll undermine the interpretations you've been force-fed. And when you spend enough time thinking about that and go back into the world, as you always have to do, what's going to happen? Your reticular activation system is going to kick in. But guess what? That doesn't matter. It's a good thing it kicks in this time, because now that you've decided something is true about yourself, your world, or whatever, the reticular activation system is going to send to you more and more data that confirm what you thought to be true is true. Right? So you're going here You've reversed the entire flow. You've started with the image, gone to the interpretation, back to the world, and you're simply executing the same process but in reverse. And your reticular activation system is supporting you the whole way. So how would you do this in a concrete sense? Well, it's very simple. Think of yourself, for instance. Who is the person you want to be? What do you want to be like? Think of that person. Literally list all the traits of this person you want to be. And then ask yourself, how does this person think differently than I do now? How does this person perceive the reality differently than I do now? What are the reactions this person gets from other people that are different than the ones I get now? Ask yourself all these questions and come up with a generic image of that person you want to be. And you're going to start seeing that this starts to flow in reverse. The stronger you make that, the more consistently you live out this new person, the more consistently this will begin to flow in reverse the way it's supposed to. And that's how you create your reality. You're doing nothing more than reversing a feedback loop, and now you're using it properly, which means you're using it to your own advantage. So that's it for now. I'm Dr. Simeon Roger. Don't forget to go to the link on this page, because if you really want to get your mind on your side, if you really want to become a deliberate conscious creator, then there's no better way than to go down and explore that link. That's it for now. We'll see you on the next video.